Yes, that's really true. I think that in our medical system now, that's what's required, that the patient becomes the gatekeeper of the information, the narrator of the information. And I struggle with this because I've been through 2 traumatic brain injury programs. I've had 15 brain bleeds. So even though I look semi-normal and sound semi-normal, I'm really not. You know, I have issues that I'm dealing with all the time. And so for me to be able to process and analyze and respond in a normal conversation, it takes a lot of energy. And so if I'm tired or in a lot of pain, I'm what I call an unreliable narrator. So on a weekly basis, though, it's really up to me as the patient to make sure that everybody receives information about what's happening in my medical journey. That would include my brain injury hospital program, my primary care doc, the specialists that I'm working with, any alternative medicine people that I'm working with, my family, my husband, my great group of friends that come and they are my advocates for me. And so I'm not always really good at making sure everybody's on the same page, but I do feel it's up to me that happens. So for a few examples, when I go to a medical appointment, I must have somebody with me in order to take notes, and I've had to come up with strategies in which we can keep all of this in a book, and somebody who's familiar enough with my case that they can ask good questions that I may think of later that they come up with on the spot that's a little more difficult for me to do. And then if somebody hasn't been with me for a couple months, they can go back and they can read through this book. It seems crazy, again, that I can't put all the important information in one interactive file that people could access. They came with me in January, it's March, they can go back and look and see what happens through January, February, March, because I honestly forget to tell people things that are really important and pertinent to my health. So, and secondly, it's really difficult for me to always make sure that I have copies of everything that I need. So sometimes I get duplicated copies, and sometimes I miss things and I don't realize it until it's time for me to have that information to supply to somebody. So that's really frustrating. And then I think the third part of it is that even though the patient in our system in America is kind of the gatekeeper of the information, there's no documentation of the patient's voice within these medical records. And that's really, it can be really demeaning and demoralizing, and I think very unhelpful in helping physicians figure out what's going on in your case. I'm the only one who knows what it's like to have the brain bleed inside my body. I know how I feel in chemotherapy. I know what it was like to be in the coma. I know what it's like to have the hemangiomas. So I have really valuable information that nobody else has. And there's no place in our medical records that voice is actually documented. And that's really frustrating to me. You know, because I want to be a part of the group. I want to be inside the circle. I want to be talking about it. I want to figure it out. You know, I want to live.